When we started Sendtask, not only did we start a new company and a new product, but we also started experimenting with a new way of building a company. Because unlike MediaSign, which is a media agency, and this is the offices of MediaSign, Sendtask is a company without an office. What that means is we have by now 13 people across 12 different countries, and there's no single office. Everyone works either from home or a co-working space, or in some cases while they're traveling. Very often that's also the case for me. Like everything else in life, things often have two sides, advantages and disadvantages. And while there's many advantages, there's also disadvantages. And I think the important part is just to become conscious of both sides and then figure out the game plan for how to deal with the disadvantages. I think that building a company is all about the company you're building it with. What I mean by that is the people that you surround yourself with when you accept this challenge and try to build something new and solve a problem that no one has solved before. So why am I mentioning that? If you're building a company without an office, you have access to a far greater talent pool because you're not hiring in any certain city, but from all over the world. Let's look at this. If you don't restrict your hiring and your talent pool to just one city or one country, in my case that could have been Switzerland, you get access to a much larger talent pool, and thus your chances increase to get very good people. Of course, there are downsides to this. You also need to set up your process so you can handle a lot more people. When we look for a new role in our company, let's say a web developer or designer, we write a briefing and we post it everywhere on the internet, and then we get a lot of applications. And in this video I want to show you how we go from hundreds of applicants down to just the top 3 within a very efficient process that requires almost no manual time input from our side. So here we go, let's do another drawing. So what this funnel says is we start with 800 applicants that in some way or another get back to our job application. We post our application on freelancer.com, Upwork, social media on our website, send it to friends, we send it to recruitment agencies. So one way or another we get 800 applicants. Now this number is far too big that we could look at every single CV and application and then make a judgment call on whether that person should make it to the next round or not. Hopefully I will get to hire a lot more people in the rest of my life. I hope to build big companies that have a big impact on millions of people, and that requires a lot of human capital. It makes sense to really think about the hiring process and figure out the way to make it more efficient than just looking at one application after another. And this is how we apply it at Sendtask. So the first thing we do to get this number of 800 applicants reduced is when we write our briefing, which is typically a 2-page document with quite small fonts, so it takes you about 7 minutes to read that document. So you need to invest a bit of time to read it. On the second page, in the lower third, we leave a note that says, if you're interested in this job, start your application with exactly this sentence. Hey Cedric, I'm the UI rockstar that you are looking for. This way, when we receive applications, we only have to look at the first sentence, and that's what helps us filter out 85% of all applicants. So immediately we get down from 800 applicants to about 120. Only about 15% of applicants get this one line right. And it saves us a tremendous amount of work that we would otherwise spend on going through these different CVs and applications. But 120 is still a large number. So as a next step, we go from 120 to about 30 to 40 applicants. What we do here is we create a Google form with 3 parts. First part is general information. We ask you about your date of birth, your location, your Skype name, and so on and so forth, so that we have that in our database. The second part is where we try to test your knowledge and enthusiasm for what we're building. So in the case of Sendtask, we ask you about your favorite productivity app, what you think could be improved. We ask you about recent projects you've done in that space, and if you've ever thought about building your own productivity app. And what we use this section for is really to understand how much time have you naturally spent on the topic. And then the third section is where we put some expert questions. So someone in our team who already has a similar job comes up with questions and keywords that should appear in the answers, so that it's easy to double check whether these are right or not. We then send out these Google Forms to all the remaining 120 applicants. Now, not everyone gets back to us, so there's about 30 to maybe 40 people that get back to us, and we make it hard. This Google form, if you do it properly, it probably takes you 1.5 to 3 hours depending on the job or role that we're looking for. So you need to invest a serious amount of time. But we do tell you in the process that this is the second step, and it does take time, but it increases your likelihood of getting the job if you put in the time. Now what we do next is someone on our team, typically this is an assistant or a project manager, goes through the answers and they look for different things. So first section, they just look if everything has been filled in. If something has not been filled in, the applicant is immediately rejected. Second, they look at the section where where we are interested and curious about how much time you've spent thinking about this area of expertise. And that's a crucial part for us because we believe that skills can always be learned, but attitude has to be there. So if someone doesn't show the right attitude, they're probably not going to be a good fit for our team. With that step, just checking if the person put in the right amount of energy into solving these problems and giving us good answers, we get down from about 30 to 40 applicants to just 10. We let the person that came up with the questions for the expertise part go through the answers and give out points. And that's how we get a ranking. And from there, we get our top 3. So after we've given out points for the top 10, we receive a list of top 3 candidates. Now, I don't personally believe too much in CVs and motivational letters. I believe much more in just seeing how you work and seeing if we can work together. So these top 3 candidates, we will reach out to them and we give them a test task. Typically it takes you a day or 2. So that's somewhere between 6 and 12 hours of hard work. Typically, we want you to work on a problem that's actually meaningful to what we're working on right now, so that if you join our team, you've already provided some value and you can keep building whatever you've built during the test task into our production system. After this test task, you schedule a call and present to us why you've solved things the way you did and where the challenges were. And this is the first time that I interact with our candidates, which is amazing, right? We get from 800 to just the top 3 without me spending a single minute on this process. And I think that's what allows us to really scale our companies and our hiring process. I hope this video provided some value to you and gave you some inspiration on maybe how you can improve the hiring process at your company if you've ever been frustrated with too many applications and not knowing how to reduce the number of applications that end up on your desk. One trick that for us is extremely effective and I think works across many different industries is just having a very detailed job description and then having that one tripwire that says, if you're really interested in this job, start your application with exactly this sentence, and then you can automatically filter out the bad eggs.